Okay, right, welcome back to this part. Let's sit down for a minute. So, we've got everything connected up. The only thing I've done different from the last video is I've just connected up this little speaker just so you can hear the sound. I'm not going to faff about with trying to record it into a computer. The sound's not going to be brilliant, but hopefully you can kind of get the idea. Right, just going to close stuff down off the iPad. Right, so kind of like the main heart of the iPad. So just going back straight to that connection, all I've done is I've taken the main like 2-track output on that. This has got these RCA connections or jack connections or whatever, so nothing exciting going off there. Right, so the main sort of heart of the set is the Electribe and the iPad. So let's just bring this in so hopefully you can see the iPad. So what I use is there's two apps that are used within another app. So I use this one called Audio Bus. Okay, so if you just load that in, because this enables you to run more than one app at a time and easily switch between the two. So it's a great little utility. Up in the folders section then I have my live 2018 set. And at the moment I'm just working on a fairly short set that's going to be kind of 10 to 15 minutes long. So down here then we've got the two apps that we're going to use that we have to launch. So the first one we're going to launch is the Launchpad app by Novation, which is a great app. It's a free app. There are in-app purchases you have to buy if you want the MIDI connection, but it's only a few quid, it's not very expensive. So what we've got in here, first of all, if we just going to get rid of that bit for now. Hopefully you can see there's a very annoying white light there, but anyway. So these are sections from my song. So let's have a look at the bottom line. Okay, so what I would do is when I finish my track, I will work out what bits I want to sort of play live off the keyboard, off the TB03, and what I want to have in the Electribe and so on. And then I will take some loops from my tracks. So if we look at this bottom one, so this track is a new track called Liquid Acid. So what I've taken off from, basically this is from the production in Ableton Live, is this track had, hold on, I need to turn the volume up on the iPad. Okay, so the original track had sort of a bass line that was off the MB33, which I didn't want to take that out live, so I've just taken basically a 1-bar loop of that. There's a vocal sample.
It may be an accidental side effect of the drug.
There was then some stuff from the Micro Brute, like a percussion thing, and then some stuff I took from the TB3 as well. So that track's got these loops in it that I've taken from Ableton Live, and basically just exported those as like a 1-bar loop or a 4-bar loop or whatever, and that's nice small files that we can then import into the Launchpad app. Again, you do need the in-app purchase, I think, to be able to put your own loops in. It does come with a load of free ones. So carrying on, let's say, looking at this track, up then on the Electribe, if I go in here, I've got my tracks kind of roughly in order. So the 4 tracks I've got in this set at the moment are Perception, Liquid Acid, Flying High, and What You Think. So if we go back onto Liquid Acid, and then again I've labelled stuff up on here. Not every song has everything in here, but at least I know which these sounds are, and it also means I can play them live if I wish. That one should be turned down. Okay, so depending on which track, now I can okay, so there's stuff programmed in on those, but I can play them live as well if I wish over the top. We'll go back onto Liquid Acid, because I think most of this has just got, it's like hi-hat and kick and snare and so on. Okay, and then basically most of the stuff, I think, yes, everything that from the original tracks that's off the TB03 is kind of then played live from the TB03. So Liquid Acid has these 2 patterns which cycle together. So obviously I can then obviously change the, manipulate the sounds as we go through it. While we're still on the launch control thing, the app, so the MIDI controller here is connected basically directly to the app. So I can launch, if I want to launch, say, this clip here, You can see this has got a little orange line next to it, so that means these buttons are in focus on that line. So if I want to launch that, all I've got to do is press that, go back a bit, you can see. Okay, that's going to start that, and again, we've got some vocal samples and things that we can throw in over the top. So, coming back then to the app, because the Launchpad app is going to send MIDI clock out to everything. So, what we would need to do is we go into Settings. And here you can see we've got MIDI sync output, which at the moment by default is disabled. So, we would enable the timing clock. Usually I do an start offset of about minus 30 milliseconds just to keep everything tight. And then all I'm doing is I'm sending that out to the UM1. Okay, so if you remember from the previous video, this USB cable is going over here into the USB hub to the UM1. So that's going to send MIDI clock out to the USB hub, and that's going to then, we've got the MIDI interface plugged into here, which is going to then transfer that out into the TB03, which is going to start that playing, and then we've got MIDI out of the TB3 going to MIDI in of the Electribe. So when I press play on here and start the MIDI clock, okay, everything starts playing. So you can see we've got the Electribe started playing and the TB03 started playing. So I can control the start of stop of those with that play button there, which is very useful. So that's sending all the MIDI information out. Right, if we go back to then Audio Bus, because we need to bring in my other app, which is this one here. So to switch between apps, all you do is you bring out this little sidebar thing, okay, and then choose the one you want, and then click on the little arrow thing. So I'm going to launch this one. So this is the Sunriser synth, and I'm using this to play some keyboard parts live from the MIDI controller over there. One thing you've got to make sure I do on this is on the MIDI, I only want to receive MIDI from the MPK. Okay? Otherwise it kind of goes weird with MIDI stuff from receiving from the other thing. So I've got that set up there. So now over on here, okay, this is playing the sounds on here. And I've got it set up for program change on the pads. So I think in this set I'm not actually using that first track, but pad 2 is what I use as a bass pad, and then I've got this dial here mapped to the cutoff of the filter. I've got that as a low pass filter. This one's the resonance for that sound, and then I've got a master volume over here as well. Next one, program change message, is that goes up for a pad sound. So all you got to do to set that up is you go to the MPK editor menu. Sorry, start again. There's a bit of software that comes with this where you have to edit it on your laptop or PC or whatever. And you just set these up to send program change messages. I'm not going to go into too much detail on this, but basically I've got it set up on this bank, and these are my sounds. So they're the various program change messages. But I'm not going to go into too much detail on this. That's probably something for a later video. So I don't need to have that in focus because that's running in the background on Audio Bus. On my screen here, I just leave the launch pad on. So I've still got control then over the Sunriser synth. I can change the sounds, okay, from there, which is great because it means I don't have to keep switching around between the two different screens all the time. And that's pretty much it. I'm sort of then good to go. So, for example, a track like Liquid Acid, what I might do is start with everything down, and perhaps bring that bass part in. And obviously I can mute the tracks off here. Okay, I can then start to, if I want to bring that bottom line in focus, all I do is press these buttons down here. Okay, we can see now that bottom line's got the little orange line next to it, which is in focus. And we can see here, that's now gone red, so...
It may be an accidental side effect of the drug.
So I've got control of... Let me just stop this 1 second. So the top row is the controlling the filter in the Launchpad app. and then the bottom row is controlling the volume. So obviously we can, you know, get that as loud as we want. Let's turn that down a little bit. Okay, we've got filter and so on available. So let's just bring a few parts in, and then the way I would build my track up, it's really a combination of bringing stuff in and out.
Maybe an accidental side effect of the drug.
Okay, so open hi-hat would come in off here. Now the TB03 is running in the background, and then I can bring that in from this dial here. So you can hear that coming in now. Okay, I've just done it down a second. So then when I've kind of gone through that song, and I can make that last as long or as short as I want. So obviously I can, you know, drop stuff out, bring it back in. Okay, and then when I'm ready to go into the next track, it would kind of generally, if I'm playing a set, it would be like continual music, almost like a DJ set. So if I was then going into, let's say we go into the next track, which would be Perception, I would gradually start to drop stuff out, so I might get rid of that. And then I might then start to bring in, let's say this, so this track here, okay, which is the next track on Perception. What I do is I'd start to probably filter that out, filter out what's playing at the moment. We gradually get rid of the TB03. So we've still got this playing. It's not easy to do one-handed. But then I start to bring in bits off the other track. Okay, so that's stopped playing. I can stop that clip playing. Perception is actually on a different track. That's on that one. So I go through to the track I want, just reset that. So the TB03 is now playing the main line from Perception. I would then, on the Electribe, switch over to that next track. So we're going to go down one to Perception. Okay, and it's going to start like that. And then bring in, remember I've changed the TB03 pattern now. You can start to bring that in. Bring that line in focus. This one plays, we have okay, that one I play a bit of the stuff off there, and then obviously I've got all the other drum parts again on here I can bring in. And so, okay, so that's kind of how it all works. What I'll do is I will record a full set with better audio, and I'll try and get the cameras in fairly close so you can see what I'm doing, so you can see how I would transition between the songs. So I think that pretty much kind of covers everything on the live set. It's pretty simple, it's pretty flexible, you know, it gives me a nice amount of flexibility to make tracks as long or as short as I want. So with these 4 tracks I could play for, I don't know, 10 or 12 minutes or 20-25 minutes, just bringing stuff in and out and changing them and going between the two. So hopefully that's of some interest to you, and that kind of makes some sense and may even give you a bit of inspiration to, you know, as where to go with your live set. Hello, back down here now. yeah, and I've tried to keep it as simple as I can without too much setting up, but also as flexible as I can. Obviously, without taking an absolute ton of gear away with me out to a gig with me. And then this would take literally like 2 or 3 minutes just to kind of pack away to get off stage. A few quick disconnections, just take a few cables out, and then I can take it away from the stage and I can pack it all together kind of like off stage. So happy days all round. So that's great. If you've got any questions or if you don't understand any of the bits, leave them in the comments box below. I'll do my best to answer those. If you've got any suggestions for any future videos as well, then let me know. If you're wondering how I get the loops out of Ableton Live, there is a video. I'll try and put a link to it in the description. There is a video on my channel which goes through how I prepare tracks for playing live and then exporting them, which is covered in that. So yeah, hopefully that was of some use. Please like and subscribe, usual things. Go and check my music out on Spotify. And what I'll do is I'll link as well. I will record, like I say, a full, like a 10-15 minute set of these tracks so you can see how it all fits together with some better audio. So check that out as well. Okay, thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next part.